Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner football fans podcast. You got Terry and Rob here. Boomer up.
Boomer Terry.
We got to start reminding everybody, Rob, that if you're listening to our podcast, stop what you're doing right now. There should be a subscribe button there. If you hit that subscribe button, it'll download all the episodes right to your playlist. You don't even have to go search for them. You just got to pull us up on whatever app you're on. iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, and SoundCloud. So, subscribe to all of them, guys. We're just trying to make your lives easier.
You don't want to miss an episode.
You don't want to miss an episode. You know, you don't want to miss pictures Rob's putting out on Twitter now either. I'm sure Holzhammer loved that picture.
Well, you know, I've seen that picture of that girl on several different people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is this? And I didn't understand, so I had to ask my son. And I said, Rhett, what is going on with this picture? And he's like, oh, it's like this big joke thing. Everybody's, or I guess girls are doing that, and they're asking, what are you thinking about or whatever. And I thought, well, that's kind of stupid.
There you go.
Everybody's doing it. Everybody's putting that same picture out now and saying something stupid with it.
So Rob is now on the What's on Your Mind, and we will be tweeting that out regularly. You know, for
I don't care.
for folks, you know, at 10, 11 o'clock at night. So as long as you don't start having a dial-in number that goes with it, Rob, I think we're okay.
Wait, am I going to make some money? I'm just joking.
And another thing we haven't been doing is talking about, except on Wednesday nights, our buddy Dan from Tailgate Connect. You know, we've talked to a lot of Sooner fans about it. I still don't know if there's any, so I don't think we still have any Sooner fans have signed up, but Tailgate Connect. If you don't know, if you're a tailgater and you want to invite people to your tailgate from out of town and whatever, Dan will set you up. He'll put your tailgate out on his service, and we'll have people come to your tailgate. There is a small fee that the person pays, but you get part of that fee to help cover your costs. And then if you are a tailgater and you don't want to just walk up to somebody's tailgate and ask if you can join, you can sign up with Tailgate Connect, and they'll link you to a tailgate. And pretty much anywhere in the country, they got a whole bunch of schools out there on it. So go to tailgateconnect.com and sign up one or another. Put your put your tailgate on there as a host, or sign up to attend. It's a good deal, especially if you're wanting to go to some out of town games, or go to where there's and know where to go, where you'll be treated hospitable. So, Rob, the Army game's over. It's behind us. It's official. We did our post game. You done talking about the Army game?
Done.
It was a win. It's all that matters.
Yep.
So, moving on, we have the mighty Baylor Bears under Coach Matt Rule coming to town this week with a much improved 3-1 record. Last year at this time, they were 0-3.
Much improved.
Or 0-4, but
well, I mean,
when they played us, they were 0-3.
Abilene Christian,
yeah.
UT San Antonio. I mean, come on.
But, I mean, to Baylor's credit, they lost to Liberty last year, so they turned around and beat Abilene Christian.
Is that the insurance company?
Yeah, the insurance company, the same team that Army played. They lost to San Antonio last year. Mm-hmm. They beat San Antonio. They lost to Duke and pretty much the same. They lost 34-20 last year, 40-27 this year, so pretty much the same result.
Mm-hmm.
And they've beaten Kansas, who was on a 2-game winning streak. Was it 2 games? Or a game winning streak?
Yes,
2 games. It was 2 games. So, and they ended the last year's season with 1-11. Their only win coming to Kansas, 38-9.
That's abysmal.
Yeah. So, but they are obviously much improved. 3-1. Here's the thing, in my humble little fan opinion, is this is the game that Oklahoma needs to set the bar. I don't like 2 non-conference games, and then a conference game, and then another non-conference. We should play all of our non-conference games the first 3 games. Get them out of the way. Because we opened up non-conference with the win at Iowa State, but now it's just uphill from here. Now we're in the heart of our schedule that we got to win every game moving forward. Mm-hmm. Agree?
I agree, and the Big 12, although it's not a juggernaut by any stretch of the imagination, it's still, you still got to come to play every week, except Kansas. Maybe.
Well, yeah, you can't take Kansas for granted right now. They had a 2-game winning streak, but here's what bothers me. And I know we look at numbers, and numbers don't mean anything really until you get out there on the field and you start knocking your own numbers around. But Oklahoma has allowed 20.8 rewind, try it again. Oklahoma has allowed 20.8 points per game, which you and I said during the summer, let's hold teams under 28 points, under 27 points. We should win every game. So far, me and you're right. Right? We're right.
Yeah, no, we are. I don't think anybody's impressed with how we've been doing it. But
right. Excuse me. The points that Baylor has put up per game this year is 36.3. So they're putting up 36 points. We're only allowing 20.8 points. They're getting their total yardage has been 486.8 yards per game. Oklahoma has allowed 383.3 yards per game. So Baylor's putting out more yards than what we're allowing. Is that a concern of yours, Rob?
I would think that everything is concern for us. But, I mean, we have shown improvement defensively. So, I don't expect to go in and hold any team to 0 or negative yards.
Right.
I just want to win the game.
Right.
But having said that, I think that, everybody's going to play the matchup game, where, Liberty held Baylor. I mean, they lost, but held Baylor to, 300 yards or whatever it was. So we ought to hold them to 150.
Right.
I don't know how realistic that is.
Right.
Getting into Big 12 play, there's a familiarity. Baylor's played here. They know what it looks like here, and I don't know. I hope we win, obviously, and I would love to see us just rout them, just embarrass them. That's probably not realistic. What do you think?
Well, we're putting out 44 points a game. We put out 48 points. We beat them last year 48-41.
And they were 0 and whatever when they got here?
Yeah. No, we went down there.
Oh,
so
yeah,
and they were 0 and 3 when we played them. And we put up 48 points. They put up 41. That's the issue.
That is an issue.
That was their second highest output in offense of last year. Their highest output was against Liberty.
Just off the cuff, you think they're going to be able to put that much up this year?
I don't think so. I mean, they shouldn't. And if they do, the Kool-Aid goes back in the fridge, and I shut the fridge for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, out on Twitter, we try to stimulate conversation,
mm-hmm.
and because we want everybody's opinions. We're fans. We're a fan-based podcast, and we want your opinions. My goal isn't to argue with you. I'm the one who runs our Twitter account. I'm not arguing. You make a point, I may counterpoint it, but that's it. I'm not going to sit here and argue. You have your opinion, and I value that fan's opinion. Now, when you start dropping F-bombs and calling people names, that's a whole different story. I won't respond.
Well, I got to say, you're better than I am. The way I do it is I say I'm right and you're wrong, and then I stick my tongue out at them.
Right. So. And like I said, a guy we had a conversation with last week, he said, this is how you have dialogue about your team. You move on. It doesn't matter who's right or wrong. And I jokingly said, hey, I didn't say we were wrong. But, me and Rob, are never wrong. Maybe, mistaken or misled it from time to time, but we're never wrong.
I think most people can't agree to disagree.
Right. But if this game ends up being 48-41 and Baylor puts out 500 yards of offense, all these people, their concerns to this point are founded, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, and that definitely is going to raise a ruckus. I think to kind of calm that, we would have to go in there and rout them and just totally, shut their offense down,
right,
before anybody's going to say, okay, yeah,
no. And our offense, like you said, there were people that put out, that Duke had 100 and only allowed Army 163 yards or 168 yards. The other thing is that Duke sustained drives. We can't help it that our offense. We talked about it yesterday. Our offense, if Kyler Murray breaks into the open, or CeeDee Lamb or Sermon, and they break out, they're not going to stop. Okay? So you can't control the fact that we had the ball 2 minutes and 50 seconds. People go, yeah, if we'd have stopped them. No, our offense turned around and scored in 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Less than that, actually.
Well,
and it's because we went 6 plays and scored. That's our offense. Now, falling back on that, well, the defense needed to stop them. Well, the defense did. They came up with the stops when they needed to, and that was at the end of the game. But if Oklahoma could sustain a drive, which they couldn't, and what I mean by that is it's 6 more plays and a touchdown.
Or 3.
Yeah, and our offense is not designed to run around the corner, get 10 yards behind the defense, and take a knee.
I think the defense has come to the realization that they're going to be on the field more than the offense.
Right.
So, I mean, they might want to do some extra cardio. I don't know, but
I think they probably have, because as winded as they were, I mean, you look out there, if you were at the game or watching on TV, those guys had their hands on their hips. They were breathing heavy, but that 4 quarters, they stood up. They made the 2 plays that got it to overtime, or kept it at overtime, however you want to put it. But what concerns me with this team is the front 7 doesn't concern me at all. I mean, our line and defense, our linemen and defensive line. Blah. Okay, let me try this again. Man, I'm having a hard time today, Rob. Our defensive line and linebackers are doing their jobs. Yep. It's that defensive backfield that we're going to have issues with. One is Baylor's 3 receivers are the same guys pretty much that burned us last year.
And they're all big.
They're all big. Every single one of them are big. And what are we going to do? Iowa State, we rushed. We did some blitzes, and we got to him a couple times, but we're just there. But I think hurried him enough that made him uncomfortable. But
well, that's the hope this time, is it?
Right. Because if we go into blitz packages like most Sooner fans, like you and I want, when it's 3rd and 6, we need to get in there and disrupt the play. That's going to leave all those 5'9", 5'10"
on an island
by themselves, and it's going to be, like Mike said and like Lincoln has said, 50-50 balls. That if we get 50% of them, that's great, but the other 50% are going to be completed and or a touchdown. So which would you rather see?
Yeah, would you rather see us blitzing in insanely or laying back in coverage?
Right. But I think mine and your issue and a lot of the Sooner fans' issue has been, well, we're laying back in coverage and they were still torching us.
And they're still getting us.
Right.
So yeah, we wanted to see a bunch of blitzes.
Right. So if we're laying back in coverage, then by God, they don't get first downs. They don't catch a ball 4 yards and get catch a ball on a 4 yard out and get 12 more yards. We make the tackle at 4 yards, stop them, put them in long, make them uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Or Gallimore gets to the quarterback and,
right,
the ball comes out and we get a turnover.
Right.
I mean,
so it's going to be pick the poison. You know, which do we as fans want to see? Well, we want to see, you know, the blitzes and this and not get burnt. There's going to be burnt. People are going to get burnt. It's football. That's just how it is.
Well, what we'd like to see is a pass rush out of the front four that we can stay in coverage and we can still disrupt the pass. Right. I mean, that's ideal, right? Because we're going to get some picks if that's the case. But that's not how our defense typically has played. You know, when you're number 67, you're not doing any of that stuff.
Right. And, you know, I mean, some people have said, you know, and I think you and I have and other people is that, you know, our offense is still not geared up. Maybe our defense still isn't geared up. Maybe they're now going, okay, we're in the meat of it. You know, obviously they're not going to run blitz packages and all the stuff we want to see against Army. They didn't need to against UCLA. When they did, they got to the quarterback.
Yep.
They didn't need to against, you know, Florida Atlantic because they were only out there, you know, a quarter.
Well, the defense that we've seen against Florida Atlantic gave us a spark of, man, this defense is really good.
Right.
And then the defense we've seen the last 2 weeks has kind of not, you know, let us believe that.
Right. And so it's pick our, you know, he's got to pick the poison, and what's going to end up happening is us as fans are going to be sitting here going, oh, my God, you know, we're back at the same deal. You're going to get the Twitter and Facebook all filled up with the Fire Mike Stoops. And, you know, Rob and I have said it before. Last year, we were surprised he was retained. Mm-hmm. Were we not? We'll be the first ones to admit that.
I will admit it.
We were the second ones to jaw drop when he got a raise. Right? I mean, we were
yeah, because the raise tells you that you're doing something good.
Right. And all that's, you know, that those are all concerns and things that I think Sooner fans can go, why? What's going on? We're not behind the scenes. We don't know what's being built. But with that being said, if again we come out this week and allow Baylor to score 41 points and get 500 yards of offense, everything everybody has been saying is merited.
Yeah.
But I am not going, nor will I ever, and I don't think, Rob, you will either, condone or chant or anything else for somebody to be fired in the middle of the season.
No, probably not. That's just not who we are.
Yeah. And now I'll be the first to say, hey, we need to make a change, and I'll believe that a change is coming. But if this defense moving forward does the same output they had the last 2 weeks, that's going to be a huge issue. We are not going to be where we are. I am, you know, my personal Kool-Aid fridge is going to be shut. I'm not going to drink it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to root for them. I'm going to be upset if they don't, you know, if we don't do as well as what we want. But point being is this weekend is when it really, that bar rises and they have to rise with it.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, this is this offense probably, I don't know, is it the best one that we've seen to date? I mean, Army's just all ground, so that's
yeah. Well, I mean, they've thrown up 486 total yards, 310 yards a game passing, and 176 yards rushing. Mm-hmm. Okay, and we've allowed 211 yards passing and 171 yards rushing.
So would you say to date this is probably the best offense that we've seen?
Yeah,
this year?
It would have to be. I mean,
outside of the running back from Florida, you know, their running backs are probably going to be better than Army's was.
Right.
And Iowa State's. The receivers are definitely better.
Because it's going to be a receiving core. There's 3 guys out there that are big.
So they're going to match us a little bit in athleticism.
Right.
So, you know, I think it'll be a pretty good game, but hopefully we figure some things out because, like you said, if they put up 500 yards on us, even if they only scored, say, 21 or 28 points, if they put 500 yards on the defense,
that's fine.
You're okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
No, I'm not okay with that.
You know? Well, I mean, why not? Because, you know, if I'm going to stand on my statement and prediction that if we hold a team to 28 points, or that we need to hold teams to below 28 points, because if we do that, we're going to win every game. Okay? And it doesn't matter. I mean, if you move down the field 8 times, on 60 and 70-yard drives, and we hold you to a field goal, or we get a turnover on downs, you can run 500 yards up and get 17 points out of the game, and I'm happy with that.
Well, if they rack up 500 yards, that means they got wide open receivers running across the field,
right?
Or they got great big gaping holes in the defensive line. So, I mean, I think it's rare that somebody puts up 500 yards and only gets 17 points.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, it could happen. I think that if that happens, you're happy because they only put up 17 points, but you still understand that you've got a problem.
Right. But I think if they put up, if we hold them under 28 points, they're only going to put up 300 yards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
and that would be okay because this is a Big 12 offense, and it's different. Their Big 12 offenses are made to, move the ball.
Right.
And sometimes in big chunks.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be okay with 17 points and 300 yards. You betcha I would.
Right. Yeah, and because, I think against Army, we proved it. I mean, with the exception really of 3 drives, the game-ending one. We threw an interception on one in the 4th down, which Kyler, apparently that was a zone read. He said he made the wrong read, and he even said, watching it, I could have walked in.
Yeah.
I don't know how you missed that read.
Well, a lot's going on in a short
lots
amount
going
of time.
But that being said, Oklahoma left really 14 points on the board.
Yeah.
That the game should have ended up 35-21 at the end of regulation. And I don't think anybody be having this conversation.
No, I agree. I mean, there's always going to be fans that didn't like how something went or what we did here. But
if we beat Baylor 35-21, I'm going to be happy.
35-21, you'll be happy?
Yeah, I mean we've held them under. We've done what they've said. They're only going to have 300 some odd yards rushing or 300 yards of offense.
Yeah.
And that's a solid. I mean, what are we? I think we're like, how many? What's the spread? Which I don't pay attention to spreads really.
I don't know.
But you can beat them by 14.
Yeah, if we can hold them to 21, I'll be happy because that's a considerable jump from last year. And it just shows the improvement in the defense,
right?
Which is all we've been asking for.
Right.
We've been asking to jump from 67 into the
40s, 50s.
If we jump into the top 50, you know, I mean, that's not where we want to be, but it's improvement.
Right. So, and right now, I mean, in my opinion, the defensive stats right now don't make a hill of beans, when you're looking at total defense, rushing defense, because everybody, all the juggernauts are low. Okay, Utah has the best defense in the country, apparently. Okay, because they're number one on everything right now. Alabama's in the 20s. We're up in the 60s and 80s and some. Let's face it, most of the FAU game was gimme. Take 3/4 of that game out, then rank us. But that's not how it goes. You know what I mean? So. Probably take the 4th quarter out of the UCLA game, if not the whole second half. So, but the same goes for Alabama and everybody else. That's why that they're still so, ranked. It's when you get into the meat of your conference is when you need to start moving up because that's when your entire defense is playing the game and you've schemed against it and you know what you're doing.
Ultimately, since I am a fan.
Mm-hmm.
If we made the playoffs and we were still ranked number 67 defense, I would be happy because we made the playoffs.
Right.
But we've seen that that's not going to win.
Right.
You're not going to win the playoffs.
Yeah.
You're not going to go to the game. So I'd be happy if we made it to the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. But I would love to see our defense in the top 20.
Right. And, this game is going, the Bears are going to – it's going to set the level we're going to see, because, right after the Ohio State game, this defense took a turn, and that turn kept going downhill.
Mm-hmm.
And this week, that defense has got to take a turn, and that turn has got to either be uphill, fighting the battle, getting better, or stable at where they were at for this game.
Well, do you feel like they are, since we're going to be playing an offense that we're used to? I mean, I know that may that may be bad to say, but this offense we're more accustomed to stopping.
Right?
Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, and there's they've got they got 4 games worth of tape to look at, and people also, I mean, you can say what you want. I mean, the first 3 games of the season, Oklahoma didn't know who was going to play quarterback for their opposing team, and if you don't think that matters, you're insane, because they have no idea. What going in the FAU game, they didn't know if they were going to do the same thing they did last year or what. The same way with UCLA. They didn't know if Chip Kelly was going to come in here and start,
and we didn't know who the quarterback on either game was until
And then even the Iowa State game, we had a pretty good, notion that it wasn't. But, this game, we know the offense. We saw it last year. We got 4 games worth of tape. Their quarterback, Charlie Brewer, he's 64 out of 102 for 862 yards. So he's 63%, passing, which is not bad, but it's not where Baylor has been in the past. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's just what I want to see. You know what I mean? I just want to see an improvement.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Baylor's probably going to put up a lot of yards on us. Let's just hope that we can shut them down when the time is right and win the game.
Yeah. Now, off Oklahoma for a little bit, on to Okie Stank. I can't think of his name, but he was one of their top
McCleskey.
McCleskey. Took a red shirt.
Have you been drinking?
I don't know any of those guys. And I was listening to it on the way here, but I heard about it, saw it on Twitter. What do you think about that? I mean, this is something, I was listening to Teddy Lehman, and he said, this is something, he goes, I don't think people thought about.
Yeah, I don't think they did either.
This kid's played 4 games. Said, I'm taking a red shirt and transferring. So, and he can transfer without having to sit out a year, I guess. Since he's redshirted?
Yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I don't think that's it. I hope it's not going to be an issue with kids, going, hey, I could just move around here because, I'm behind Trey Sermon, who is, I'm not going to beat him out. So,
right.
That would really hurt the depth of a lot of teams. If TJ Plager decided, hey, I'm not going to ever beat Trey Sermon out, so I'm gonna mosey on. He's going to really hurt our depth.
Right. I mean, it's selfish. It's a wait a second.
Oh no, you got to see that play and rewind.
Okay, just so everybody knows, my Steelers are playing, and what the hell? I've missed. They were already.
Yeah, they were already down 7-0.
Oh my god!
But you got to see this play from the tight end. It's amazing.
Hold on, I got to turn my chair. I didn't know the game was on. Thanks for the heads up there, Rob.
Well, I was about to tell you that your Steelers were losing, but they're all tied up now or getting ready to. But you got to check this out.
Jesse James.
This is violent. He's probably lucky he didn't get a flag on this play right here. I mean, he's open like nobody's business, but watch. Boom! Oh, get out of here.
Oh, my God.
I told you. If y'all didn't see this game, then go ahead and Google it on up right now because that's an impressive play by that tight end.
That is a one stiff. Oh, twice.
Just knocked him down. Anyway, where were we?
Yeah, I don't know. My Steelers just on.
We were talking about
Did he miss that?
Who? He did miss it. They're losing, Terry, by the way. 7-6.
Son of a.
Sorry, Sooner Lisa. We love you, though.
Oh, my God. That guy had been clutch for 2 years, and now he can't hit an extra point. Oh, my God. Okay.
Well, in his defense, I couldn't either. So, yeah, that's a major deal for them. I mean, he's not their leading receiver this year, but he's number 2.
Yeah.
And I certainly hope none of our players decide that, that's something that they want to do. But it's really going to hurt a team that they can't afford to lose any depth.
Yeah.
I mean, they stink as it is. And they have to wear orange.
Yeah, and a lot of orange. But this may be an isolated incident because apparently his dad is a coach at Tulane.
Oh.
And his dad may have told him, look, if you're unhappy, just hey man, just redshirt the rest of the year and transfer. Maybe
you
even
don't
transfer
get forever
down
with
here.
your parents.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah. So, you don't know. I mean, but that's a weird thing, and we haven't brought up the fact either that I think what game was it? Was it the Army? No, it wasn't the Army game. I was watching a game the other day. We were at Buffalo Wild Wings before the game, and I saw my first fair catch on a kickoff. It was the weirdest thing ever.
Seen that.
Yeah, I mean, fair catch on a kickoff. And like I said, we're going to start. And then did you see the Clay Matthews deal?
Yes. There is a, I don't know what you call it, spoof or something going around on. Have you seen that? Yeah. Where the guy's tackling his son?
Yeah, picks him up and lays
He's
him
like
down.
lazy down. Let me give you a foot rub. Let me rub your shoulders. That's, I mean, I know that's, obviously ridiculous, but that's where it's coming.
Yeah.
It?
Yeah. I mean, and that rule is going to trickle down if they don't correct. It's going to trickle down to college. And there was nothing flagrant and cheap about what Clay Matthews did.
Unless he drove his pelvis into him.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm so sorry. That was a joke.
But I mean, it was a tackle. And how is a man the size of Clay Matthews supposed to wrap up a quarterback and then let go of him and fall over to the side? And then I guess there was a defender for Washington. No, it was Miami that tore an ACL or hamstring, one of the two, pulling up so he wouldn't, and tried to, I guess, roll. And he's out for the rest of the season because of that rule.
That's where we're at right there.
And
defenders are going to have to start, slapping two hands, two below.
And, the next thing, because that stuff is going to trickle down. The only thing I want to trickle down, and it's not, people are going to like, you're crazy, Terry, because, we missed a field goal, is I love the extra point rule in the NFL.
The length?
Yeah, setting it on the 15 because, come on. That's a chip shot, and they've made it more difficult.
Yeah, I like it too.
A little more interesting for that. But I'm concerned. NCAA is already setting up these rules. And some of them aren't bad. I don't mind the rule that you can't take off from a kickoff until the ball is kicked. And you have to line up on the line of scrimmage. You can't line up 5 yards behind it and run up. You got to line up on it. I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah, I don't either. These guys need to live to see their grandkids or whatever, and they need to be able to walk to do it. But on the other hand, you can't be a sissy.
Right. Yeah. And, people have said before, Baker said it, football is a violent game. And
it definitely is. Right there's your flag.
Did they throw a flag on it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look at that. That's helmet to helmet. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
So, leading with your head. I always led with my head.
Yeah.
When I played. How about you?
No, they didn't throw a flag on that, Rob.
Yeah, they did. They threw a flag. He may not have went out, but
he's still in there.
Huh.
But
yeah, you're right, because he just made the tackle.
Just did it again. But you, like you said, you led with your head, but you were taught to put your head to one side or the other.
Yeah, but I knew it hurt more if I kept my head straight up,
right.
So I did.
Yeah, but unless you were in that situation where, and I remember it was, you plant your face mask in their numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but on most instances, you were taught to put the shoulder into the gut.
Yeah.
Watch the waist because, that's where you're not going to get the juke. You're not going to see the head. And these guys, there's so much sliding now and stuff and lowering of levels. If a guy's coming in and you've lowered your level, if you've bent your knees down, then there should be no targeting because you can't control that.
Well, and they're so fast.
Yeah.
If you give them an extra second to try not to target them, they could be around you and gone.
Right.
So I very much dislike the call against Clay Matthews, but
And like I said, it will trickle down. So
I mean, when they strap on the pads, they know they're putting pads on because somebody can knock them, to next week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's not soccer.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Right?
Yeah, glad we don't have to watch that every Sunday afternoon.
God. I just soon watch that. What's the deal with the cooking chef and he throws knives at people and stuff? Or I don't know what he does.
Hell's Kitchen.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'd rather watch that than soccer. I can just tell you right now.
But anyway, so.
I'd watch beach volleyball.
Oh, yeah. Beach volleyball. Anytime. Female beach volleyball. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. just to clarify that. But anyway, back on, we kind of jumped off subject, but back on the Sooners, which, we don't.
Sooners, we're talking about the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah, we got onto the Cowboys, but
pistols firing.
Yeah.
Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah, but, I mean, has Gundy not become one of the funnest
I like him.
Post-game interviews?
I like him. He's like, you don't get a drink of smoothie, you get your ass kicked.
Yeah, I mean, we got out-coached, we got outplayed, got out-schemed, we got our butts whipped all over the field.
You know what? Fresh dose of honesty from a coach is pretty cool.
I like that. It's just like, hey, what are you? Why walk up there and go, well, we did this and this and that. No, hey, we walked out there and got our butt kicked.
Here's a classic. I got onto them too hard at halftime, and so they tried too hard, and that's why we lost.
Right? Yeah. I mean,
shut your mouth.
Yeah. He didn't come out with a smoothie. Came out with water. You get water when you get your ass kicked. No smoothie today. When you win big, beat Boise State, you get a smoothie with vodka in it. I
wonder if he's going to shave off the Joe Dirt hairdo.
The Joe Dirt hay. I don't know. I mean, but I'm getting to where he's kind of like Snyder, Kansas State. Everybody hated him for a while, and now Snyder's like everybody's pawpaw. He's so kind and respectful now, and everybody's just like, oh, he's just an old jerk because he just didn't want to, talk to anybody. You know? But so I'm glad that Gundy's not my coach.
I'd really like to see what Gundy could do at a school that could really get some talent.
Right.
I mean, they're not getting bad talent. They've had some really good, players down there, but I just wonder what they could do. Just say he was at Texas,
right?
With the talent they get there, what could he do with that?
Yeah. Or if it had gone to Tennessee.
Yeah, or Tennessee.
Because Tennessee's got the fan base and the money to.
Yeah.
Not that Oklahoma State doesn't have the money, but let's face it, the fan base is never going to be more than what that stadium's ever going to hold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not going to be that. They're always going to be second fiddle.
Right. And they know it.
Yeah. And I mean, and I'm not saying Oklahoma fans wouldn't have done it. We did it before back in the Blake days, but I mean, here you've got a good coach. You've got a team out there, and their stands were empty going into the fourth quarter. I get, the traffic and all that stuff. But I'm one that, the only reason why I left during the FAU games because I was about to pass out from the heat. It was hot.
No, I definitely ain't hating on you for that.
Yeah, but if I'm sitting there, if I'm sitting there in that game, I paid a lot of money for those tickets. I'm gonna sit there and watch it.
Oh yeah.
I have rarely. I think on like 2 occasions have I walked out of a game, and it wasn't because I was mad. It was generally had to do with the heat or the game was over on our end. Had to travel a long distance back to McAllister, but there's big Gerald McCoy, and he's gotten bigger since he was here. He was kind of trimmed up.
He's a stud.
Yeah, but I don't know, Herman and his, he's getting all Texas is getting the love again that they're back.
That everybody wants to give. The national media wants to love on them. They want them to be good. We need them to be good. As bad as I hate to say that,
right?
I heard that we still could get a game day, even though Fox is going to be down there, as long as they hold up their end. Of course, if we hold up our end, don't get beat by Baylor. So we got Baylor, then we got off a week, and then we got Texas. Is that right? Or did I miss?
No, it's Baylor, then Texas, and then we're off after Texas.
Oh, off after Texas. Okay,
right, and then it's TCU.
I mean, long as we win our next game, they win their next game, I think we're gonna get game day.
If that happens, they were ranked 17th, I think. So they'd probably move up a couple, 6 and 13. So it'd be
better than the Virginia Tech game, who got beat by Old Dominion.
Old Dominion, yeah.
Good grief. So,
it'll be a mark. It's still going to be 11 o'clock, and I think the latest that game will ever be is at 2:30. It's never going to be a night game, and people say, it's because they don't have lights. Well, yeah, that's one.
Who don't have lights?
The Cotton Bowl.
Oh, what are you talking about?
But that's a lot of alcohol at that place that people show up and start drinking the moment they walk in there, if they're not already drinking from the night before.
Yeah.
And that
game used to be so rowdy.
Yeah. Can you imagine if that game was at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Another 2 or 3 hours of drinking, a bunch of Oklahomans and Texans out there slamming beer back at the fair, and then walk in that place. Good Lord. So I think 11 to noon is a good time for it.
Yeah, probably. Keep everybody, you don't want no brawls out in the old Texas State Fair.
We don't want the Texans to get mad and start, crying and standing out in their parking lot waiting on us because we beat them again.
I've been there a lot of times, and I really don't remember seeing that many fights. The first time I was at the OU Texas game, and this might be a good segment, your first OU Texas experience, because I think it's pretty magical. But we were standing there and watching the Pride of Oklahoma come out, on the I forget what side they come out on now, but there was a bunch of Sooner fans, and the Pride was marching right through the middle.
Right.
And I was like up on this second ledge looking down, and there's this great big guy, and I mean big, like 6'6", 6'7", and he's walking through the Pride.
Oh, wow.
Bumping them out of the way.
Yeah.
Walking through, with his fingers up,
holding the
pinky
horns.
out. And, that gay thing they do. Anyway, he's walking right through the Pride and, bumping them. He's disrupting this march of the Pride.
Right.
Well, he's going across, and when he gets to this other side, about 8 guys jumped him and whooped him down. I mean, they whooped him. Now, he was obviously going to try. I mean, he was doing that to spark some kind of a,
to spark controversy, and he got it.
And he got it. But he was by himself. He didn't have any buddies around him. He was surrounded by, however many thousands of Sooner fans, all dressed in red. And he's walking through there, being very belligerent. and when he got to the other side, man, they got him.
That's just not smart. That's just not smart. I don't think I had anything like that other than the first one I went to, we lost, and I was standing in the bathroom.
Wait. By Caleb's measurements, you can't ever go back.
Yeah. Well, then he can't either, because the first two he went to, they lost.
Oh boy.
But no, I'm in the bathroom, and I'm the only person in the bathroom. And there's 14 urinals there, and these 2 Texas fans walk in, and they get on both sides of me. And, of course, one of them, it's like, we got an Okie standing here. And I'm like, yeah, just kind of, Boomer Sooner, huh, buddy? And I was like, hey, it was a hell of a game. Hats off to you guys. Congratulations. Let me finish peeing. You broke the man code. You never walk up to a man while he's peeing and start peeing with next to him and
I would have
start
said,
talking.
Listen, keep your eyes on your own junk, buddy.
So but and we're trying to think about something cool to have next week for Texas week, but I don't know what we're going to do. But anyway, I think we both agree. I think the fan base agrees that we need to have a stellar performance this week.
Yeah, they really do. They really need to come out and play well. And they do, defensively, offensively, they need to come out and execute so that, the America takes notice again. Sooners, they are a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, take some positive momentum into the Texas week and into the Texas game, because that's what Texas is getting right now. They had the loss, the close call to Tulsa, And then all of a sudden, they beat USC, which most people say, well, USC wasn't that good. And then they, beat USC, who played, Ohio State toe-to-toe for, all but about 7-8 minutes of that game. From what I understand, I didn't see it. And now Texas has this moment of, hey, well, maybe we shouldn't be, we're not buying into what everybody says. We're pretty good. So
how did they lose to Maryland, who turned around and lost to somebody really terrible?
Yeah.
I don't know. USC's not any good at all, but
that was a momentum builder because they thought they were. And, the media played it up, And
who do they got this week?
I'm not
Tech.
sure.
No, not Tech.
No, it's not Tech. Is it Oklahoma State?
Kansas? I don't know. We'll have to look that one up.
I don't know. We're not that deep into it. But, Oklahoma, though, needs to have a positive showing.
I think they got Kansas State.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They do. And at Kansas State, and Texas has only won up there one time since the start of the Big 12 or something like that. So anyway, I think we're going to have a good showing. Wednesday on our tailgate podcast, we'll figure out what we think the scores are going to be. And we got to make sure that there's no Army talk on Wednesday night. We have to. We got to go over everybody's scores. So, with that being said, how
did we do in the pick 'em with Boomer Boys?
I had Brad actually posted them, and let's go over those for those of y'all who didn't see them.
I did not. So.
On Twitter. So let's go over those real quick with the Boomer Boys, Brad and Brett.
I don't think I did very well.
I don't think really any of us did. Actually, Brett did pretty good. On the top 25, Brett was 17-5. Brad was 13-9, and you and I both were 14-8. Does OU have a 100-yard rusher? Brett and Brad got a yes, both. You had two of them. I had a no. So I don't know. Were you right on that?
I was close because he had 89 yards rushing, right?
Yeah, and I thought we'd have two backs with 89 yards is kind of what I was.
See, I think that since Sermon had 119 or whatever he had, that those 19 roll over to Kyler, and then that puts us into 200-yard rushers. So I'm right.
Yeah, but
I like that logic.
Yeah, but then how many yards does Army get? Brett had 220, Brad had 250, Rob, you had 200, I had 150, and they had 339.
Right.
Yeah, that's just rushing. So, really not bad. Not a bad pick on 14-8. I'm not going to complain about that.
Well, I wouldn't go down to Vegas and bet my picks or anything.
No.
But
anyway, so hopefully I got to talk to Brett and find out if that's something they're wanting us to do every week. I think he did want us to do that every week. Maybe email our picks or something like that to him. I'll find out. Brett, if you're listening to this, or Brad, if you're listening to this, just holler at me. But I'll holler at them later on in the week. See if we need to send it in, if they're going to make it part of our pick. Make us part of their pick'em crowd. So. But anyway, I'm going to shut this down and watch my Steelers play and praying for a win.
You're still getting beat.
And now I know what it's like to be a Cowboy fan. I'm starting to feel that sinking.
Oh boy! Yeah, the Cowboys are not very good this year. Are they?
That sinking feeling of going, there's nothing we can do to correct this. But I have faith in my Steelers. Tonight we're going to get the W. I got a new. This is my third new Steelers shirt for this year.
And it's not working?
And, I went through my yellow one. I've always wanted a yellow one. I got a yellow one. That didn't work the first game. I had a new one with my old Steelers logo on it.
Uh-huh.
Lost last week.
Oh, man.
So this is my last. I'm not going to buy another one. If this don't work, I'm going back to one I wore last year. So
is there ever a point that's going to come that you're going to realize that, or you might cross your mind?
Why do you want to kill my dreams? What I mean,
what you do has no
Rob,
bearing
this is my
an effect on the game.
This is my contribution to the team.
You know what? I'm really excited on our new section on what did you do to help the Sooners win.
Yeah,
because I want to see the psychoses out there.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. But I mean, I'm. Why do you want to be? It's I always wanted to play college ball. I always wanted to play pro ball. I was just what is it, horizontally or vertically? Yeah, horizontally challenged. Vertically challenged. That's a whole different problem. Yeah. But this is my way of I mean, I was that way when I played high school ball. I wore the same pair of socks.
Yummy.
Now I washed them after every game,
okay.
But I wore them all through the week for practice. And I didn't shave, and I didn't cut my hair all year long. But I never shaved before a game. I would shave on Sunday after the game. But I'd always shave.
So if y'all lost, that didn't have a bearing on the.
Rob, shut up. Okay? Quit trying to make.
I just wonder how it works here. I'm just trying to learn the rules.
It was just my thing. Well, but even Rufus had his deal. He said he shaved his head every game day. Cut his hair. That's all he did. He cut his hair. He made sure and did that. It was part of his ritual. I have my rituals now, and I'm going to continue to stick with them.
It's the voodoo that you do.
Yeah, it's in my mind, it helps, and that's all that matters.
Somebody's going to come along and they're going to go, Rob, we don't have the crayons or the time that it's going to take to explain this psychosis to you.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, guys, start watching. You can even put them out tomorrow. What you do every week to help the Sooners win. I mean, I quit. My mug, Rob. Here's a good point. The mug I traveled all the way to California with that I had last year when the Sooners, after the lost to Iowa State, started drinking out of. Took it all the way to California to the Rose Bowl. I forgot to get a new mug this year, so I don't drink out of an OU mug, but the one I drink out of. So far, we've won every game.
Well, it must be the mug.
So, that's my. I haven't called my mom this week. Teresa actually thought I didn't call my mom this Saturday morning because I didn't call her the first game, the Saturday before the game, because I always call my mom on Saturday mornings. And but she's like, "Are you going to call your mom?" I was like, "Why are you worried about if I want to call my mom?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm just wondering, so you're going to call her tomorrow?" I was like, well, again, why are you worried? She goes, I just figured since you hadn't called her since the first game on Saturday, if that's why you hadn't called her. And I was like, well, no, but now that you mentioned it. So, but anyway, it's my stuff. So Sooner fans, we are going to be pushing that. We want to know what you do every week to help your Sooners out. You do your part to win the game. And, and Rob has agreed that if we get to the playoffs, here's my question. Okay,
was it playoffs or was it national championship?
I thought it was both.
Well, okay.
But here's my question: if you paint your face, we get to the national title game and say it is, and you paint your face and we win, you got to paint it the exact way you had it because I know you still got the picture of it.
I do.
Is that going to become
for the national championship or for the playoffs
or for anything? I mean, are you going to go? Wait a minute. Or the national championship, at least.
I don't think they'd like that at work when we have home games. So, and then at the other times, I'd either be sitting here at Buffalo Wild Wings. I think people would think I was pretty weird.
And that's different from. Well, did you look at the picture you posted on Twitter today?
That's totally normal. Totally normal.
Yeah. So
I'm surprised I didn't get a lot of comments. I really didn't. There wasn't a whole lot of people going, "Man, that's just weird, Rob."
Yeah, it just a lot of times it depends on when you drop them. There's sometimes you get a lot, and then sometimes you drop stuff and it just didn't get a lot of reaction. But I've got it saved to the old Twitter device here, so
I should be worried about that.
Yeah, you should be worried because there's going to be some late night tweeting going on.
Yeah,
but anyway, that's the podcast for today, guys. We didn't get the Baylor Bears podcaster on with us. Apparently, it was a she, which would have been cool.
Oh.
But she had a death in the family, and a Big 12 country contacted me, and they were going to try to get a guy to cover for her, but she apparently had a death in the family, and so was not going to be available. But we do have a guy lined up from Texas next week, so you'll have a podcast next week. But so you just had me and Rob tonight, and hope you enjoyed it. Our little 2 cents worth. We'll see you Wednesday night. Watch for our tweets tomorrow on who gets their question asked. That's another big thing. We've been preparing our questions for Coach Riley. And so keep an eye out for that tomorrow. We'll see everybody on Wednesday.
Hey, tweet me your questions, and I'll pick the best one and ask it.
Yeah, Rob has to cheat.
Well, yeah. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
So that's it for tonight. For today. Enjoy the podcast. Hope you had a good time. We will see you on Thursday. Boomer up.
Boomer Terry.
Thanks for listening to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. Hit the subscribe button right now on whatever app you're listening to download every episode as they come out. Check us out on Twitter and Facebook and on YouTube. Boomer Sooner.